Apparently, a gentleman contacted me last week saying that in order, Janko, to get your channel grow, you actually need more likes. It feels so ridiculous asking for likes, subscribers, the bell. What kind of life is that as a YouTuber? I just want to share my content. But I do need a development to get, to get proper content. Could we try to reach 1,000 likes on this video, please?
No. Yes.
You have read the title, time index below, so you can skip to the actual big mistake from Porsche. Until then, have a first reaction from me when I met my 982 Spyder.
Finished out work, jumped into my car, the spectacular Cayenne, and I am at Porsche Center Danderyd, and I have the key to my Spyder parked outside, and now it's time for me to get the first glance of my Spyder. So I have driven my Spyder for the first time. Here it is, spectacular. Finally, I get a chance to take a look at it. First of all, the color, ladies and gentlemen, oof, perfect choice, if you ask me. First reaction, I've just pulled in my car into the workshop at Porsche Center. Love it. Let's go low first, because when the car is arriving to the Porsche Center, the front spoiler is not mounted, fitted. So the front spoiler is inside the car. And what does that tells us? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to fit a GT4 front lip, I think that operation is quite easy to manage. But remember, if you put the GT4 a bit longer front lip, you will, make disruptions or, interfere with the spectacular work that Pröniger and his team has made with the aerodynamics. It might look better, not sure, but you will mess with the balance of the car. GT Silver, thank you, Janko, for selecting the classic color. It looks so much better in the flash than I expected. Love it. And then, remember, I'm going to Auto Shield to have this, tuned down a bit. More to come, more to come, more to come. Thank you so much for having this spectacular front headlights. I must admit that this is just a detail of, well, let's face it, it's daylight all the time in Sweden during the summer, but thank you for, well, thank myself for actually paying for these. I love them. A spectacular design, and I've seen cars without them. I think this is one of the most important design options. Speaking of design, let's go low here, because I think this is quite rare these days. I know having a silver colored rims or wheels. I know a gentleman that has actually red rims on his Cayman T. Looks spectacular though, but I think the classic silver needs to come back more. Everybody is adding the black and the colors to the wheels, and I think to have it in silver makes it more unique these days. And black calipers, thank you very much. I've seen the pictures of yellow ones, and I've seen them with the god red, and black is the color that suits this, at least this configuration, best. Speaking of black, let's move to the very rear of the car, where I have one more option that I am so happy that I selected. The Porsche logo in black, because that makes the rear wing more distinctive from the rest of the lines, making it more visible. Yeah, I think I can say something like that. And also the humps or the design of the Spyder, the characteristics of the Spyder will be more visible according to me. Thank you so much, Porsche, for removing this ridiculous rear tail light or braking light that was on the previous 981 model, and only having this on the top. Remember, before we move forward, this is based on the same platform as the 992. Bear that in mind. That's a huge difference between the 981 and the 718. I don't like the 789. I'm going to come back to that, but it's flat 6.4-liter engine. The 718 should be reserved towards the 4-cylinder engines. I'm not sure why Porsche named it 718. I guess the employees at Porsche don't know their own history. Anyway, moving forward on the 992 chassis, look how it looks. It's so beautiful. I want to open the door, and I'm going to show you something that I option out. The carbon fiber illuminated door sills with my logotype, the art of driving visible. This is going to pop out, and the carbon fiber will match the 918 bucket seats, the P11. Spectacular. But one thing when I jumped into the car that I was so pumped to see, that I was not expecting, is that I have not seen many cars with leather instead of, well, in the Spyder it's actually in standard, the color of the vehicle, but this I have put in leather, and I think it looks spectacular. I'm not sure how I'm going to film this in the future, but you need to get a proper look on that. Also, I'm very happy that I selected the extended leather packaging in Alcantara, because this area here is then in Alcantara, matching the lower part. Love it, love it, love it. Even though, remember my thoughts about maintaining Alcantara? Yeah, we can have a talk about that. Moving forward to the front wheels, and I am so happy to announce that I got proper wheels on my Spyder. I was so afraid to get Dunlop or anything else, but it's proper Cup 2 tires. Would I like to have the Track Connect? Yes, I cannot understand why Porsche does not have that as an option. I will come back to that later on. But again, let's try to remove this. Am I allowed to do this? It's my car. I'm gonna remove it. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, the black calipers. I'm getting pumped. Oh, black, and no silly colors in the calipers. And yeah, of course, the PCCB brakes would have been, larger, more masculine perhaps, but I'm quite satisfied. It actually holes in those. I haven't noticed it before, but it is drilled discs on the Spyder. I haven't noticed that. Love it, love it, love it. Gives a little bit more design to it. And let's move forward again to the driver's seat. Let's move all around. Come on, come on, come on. Because I have a few things that I want to address. I'm just going to jump in at least a bit inside. All the covering thing is here, so it's going to be the PDI inspection and everything. But a few positive things and a few negative things. Leather steering wheel. Oh, I am been waiting for that for so long, and finally I have a proper leather steering wheel. On the same breath, why couldn't I get the black parts, the chrome part in the Spyder, black as in the GT4? Remember, the Sport Chrono Watch has the same bad chromish things, that the car would have looked so much better in black. Another thing, I loved my Cayman T having the inscription of the gears painted red. Well, actually, I just want to have silver and black color on my car, but it would have been nice to have that accent left. Perhaps I should paint that black. Let's see what happens. But anyway, first impression of my Spyder is 2 big thumbs up, and I cannot wait until April. You heard me right. I'm not going to drive this car into April, but this spectacular car is going to be in the showroom at Porsche Center Danderyd for all of you to come and visit and view my car. I will come back to that when it's ready.
If you had listened to a stock 993 and compare it to the modern car, sports car today, you might feel that we are deaf these days. The 993 stock are quite tuned, if you ask me. But for some reason in the electrification path that we are heading, noise has become a big part. Does that mean that Harley-Davidson has always been ahead of everybody else? Not sure, but that's a big topic.
One thing that I'm not going to run into judgment is the sound of the vehicle. Let's fire her up. one thing that strikes me right away is the melody of the sound. I have no complaint in that case. If it is too loud, does it need to be louder? That is a question I need to drive the car to determine. Remember, my 992 was a great sound inside the cabin where, well, the owners basically are present, but outside it was rubbish. That is not the case with the Spyder.
This is the RSK 718 Spyder. And this is a 718 because it has a 4-cylinder displacement. And this is the big mistake that Porsche continues to do, naming their cars. I cannot stress enough how important I think it is to make this properly. The 718 should be reserved for those cars that has a 4-cylinder displacement or perhaps occasionally an 8-cylinder. But naming the Spyder 718 makes me furious. That has nothing to do with the displacements that we're facing with the Spyder. Actually, we could discuss if it should have the name Spyder as well, since the 4-cylinder engine displacement has been the focus at the Spyder. But then again, we have the 918 Spyder, etc. But keep the 718 properly for the 4-cylinder displacement. And as I have said, the Boxster and the Cayman become their own living breathe when the 4-cylinder engine was introduced into the series, naming it 718. Bang! That's how you should do it, Porsche. Makes sense with the naming. We should not, in this conversation, mention the Taycan Turbo S, but they continuously making the wrong naming of their car. And my thought is that perhaps the employees at Porsche does not care or are not interesting to embrace the history of the brand. The history and the legacy that, well, defines it, if you ask me. Porsche is the brand towards the man or woman that appreciate to be in front of the steering wheel. A shame, Porsche, for the naming of your cars. Big mistake. A lot of thoughts going through my mind each time I meet a new model from Porsche. So is the case when I meet my 982 Spyder.
It's quite exciting, but the instrument cluster just flipped. Gudung, 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 gudung. Transport mode. Well, basically the half of the car is shut down and nothing is basically working. Ooh, first impression is that slotted cows makes a difference. Well, let's put it, I'm not going to win the vegan award this year with all the leather in my car, but it, get that luxury feeling that the Spyder deserves. I love it how it is composed. It's going to be amazing to see when everything is on place. The front spoiler is fitted properly. Everything is removed and it's ready for the street and ready for entrance the showroom as well. I'm going to come back, obviously. A lot of things to do with this car until it hits the showroom. A lot of thoughts going through my mind and I have to, get them through. I have to think them through. What do I think? What do I expect? Am I satisfied with my spec? What do I want to change? Should I have made something differently? Should I have had a deletion of my PCM system? Well, there is many questions for me to answer. It's many thoughts that needs to be sorted. Love that I have a cruise control. No, I don't love it. My driving license actually loves that. Woo! This is going to be so excited to go through the history of the Spyder. I'm actually feeling more excited now than I did with the GT3. That's actually quite odd, isn't it? But I think it is the Cayman T that has made me fall in love with the 718. Remember, this is a much more heritage back to the 911s than I would say the 992 and the 991 ever will be. Because it's a light car in comparison. And I think with the 4-liter natural aspirated engine, I think we have a case here. I haven't driven it, obviously, but that's just a thought. Again, we're judging. Again, the Porsche enthusiasts judge a car without having a proper test drive in it. Oh, When are we going to learn?
You need to take a closer look at the Spyder to discover the uniqueness of the car. As far as I know, only the doors and the hood are the exact same as the standard Boxster. Yeah, you could argue the lights, etc., but in the total front back, it's totally different look and character. Let me give you one example.
Johan and I reflected. With the new larger brake disc in the rear, the looks is much better on the Spyder compared to the 718 Boxster and regular Caymans. Because if you don't have these huge brake discs, well, you basically look through the car. It's a mid-engine car, it's not much behind the wheels. And with the larger disc brakes, it frames it much better. I love it. I have to say black calipers again. I love it. Okay, I have to stop. Black. Okay, that's too much.
A couple of days later, the PDI was done at Porsche Center Danderyd and the car was transported to Autoshield. Remember, I'm going stealth, expel stealth, to get more aluminium, more heritage back to the 550 Spyder. 550 Spyder was a 4-cylinder engine. I actually start to fall into the place that it perhaps would have been spectacular with a 4-cylinder engine. Imagine a 4-liter, 4-cylinder, natural aspirated engine that will connect towards the 550 Spyder even more. Sorry for going there. You understand where I come from. I'm not sure. The 6-cylinder engine will be spectacular to drive. Oh, this was not meant to be this discussion. Again, I threw myself into the cold water. But you have to think about it. What is the Spyder? What would be the perfect Spyder if you would build it from scratch? The market screams for the flat 6 engine from the 911, but the Spyder, is that a 6-cylinder engine? It would be spectacular to rev it to 8,000. Absolutely. Don't misunderstand me. I will love it. You will sooner or later have a video of me going, whoa! Don't worry, that will happen. I was overwhelmed with the 981 and I will get as overwhelmed with the 982. Oof. Nevertheless, I went to Autoshield.
Let me tell you a story about responsibility when you run a business. One day at Porsche Center Stockholm, Marcus approached me from Autoshield. You know, it's one thing just delivering a product, one thing is to follow up and keep contact with the customer works. He was actually standing in front of another car, not mine. I looked and asked, what are you doing? I'm inspecting my work. By the way, you have something to take care of. A couple of weeks ago, this bubble here was, well, to say at least, microscopic. He noticed it and said, you have to come in and change it. And that is what I call responsibility. It was no discussion, there was no... Actually, I didn't fail a complaint, but then again, I get things done. I'm not sure how that worked, but that is top quality. I also get asked about the prices at Autoshield, and I refer to my father-in-law, may he rest in peace. You get what you're paying for. Having a responsibility towards the work, how much do you value that when you purchase your PPF? And it's quite nice to go into Autoshield facilities because take a look. Whoo, here she is, my beauty, my Spyder. And what we're doing, remember when I option her out, we are going stealth, ladies and gentlemen. They are currently working, and this side here is done. Ooh, have a look. They have some beautiful dogs here. Hey, look at this. She's all sleepy. Yeah. Okay, enough of the dogs. It's just Nicky Murray that actually appreciate me going doggy style. But what we are doing here, okay, are you ready? We are currently working. Have a great look on the car. I cannot express enough how cool it looks. Well, basically the headlight is off and everything, but I can already sense what we're gonna do. Oof, this is exciting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Again, here we have the doggy. Exactly. It's only me that loves dogs and Nick Murray, but anyway, take a good look. Whew. Tough work here. Oh, look at the beauty. Look at the lines. Woo. Let's just pass through. I actually sneaked out, jumping to my mom and dad's car, shifting the gears, have that. I was actually quite afraid that the car would move back and forth, going to neutral, I felt the handbrake 100 times to make sure it didn't go anywhere. Oh, that was the days. Being a kid, dreaming, jumping into a old Volvo 240 and, feeling that you wanted to drive, but you were not allowed. Ooh, that's a lot of feelings. Leather steering wheel. Ooh, may I touch the leather wheel? Ooh. Ooh. I'm so excited. I cannot hide it. Oh, again, if anyone find any proper medicine for me to consume, then just write that on the comments below and I will try to see if I can get hold of it. But as far as I know, I'm quite excited. A bit more touch and feel to it. A bit harder, I would say. These are not 100% as my Cayman T. Ooh, and the gearbox. Ladies and gentlemen, the gearbox. Whew. Strap. I'm gonna have a sneak peek. No Bose sound system. That's it. That's how it should be. Deviated stitching. Ooh. What is my fault? No clue.